It's a little nippy out there. Well, yeah, I've already been in and made coffee and hung my jacket up, but I had to sweep some snow, you know? It's just a snow sweeping morning. I grew up sweeping snow, and then I left for 20 years, and then I came back and I'm sweeping snow again, and you know what? I love it. I don't mind at all. I love looking out the window, seeing the snow falling. Puts me in the mood for Christmas. I also love Christmas. And, you know, we're in December now, so we have snow. It's cold out, and we have coffee, and it's Christmas. So let's, in the spirit of such, let's go sit down, have a little, you know, fireside chat without the fire. We don't want a fire. Well, I mean, I guess I could do this. We could, you know, it wouldn't be the same, wouldn't have the same effect, but you know, yeah, fireside chat. There's something homey about being by a fire and drinking coffee. No. I'm being silly. Seriously. That's what I get. I try to... No. Hang on a second. I think someone just pulled in the driveway. Oh. My beautiful assistant, also my wife, she's leaving to go cart kids around, I guess, is what's happening. So anyway, I just like to wave goodbye when she has to go somewhere, you know? I'm not being morbid. I'm just saying, you never know when it's your last goodbye. You literally never, life is uncertain. That's what part of what makes life an adventure. So I always like to give a wave, say goodbye. If I get a chance, give a little kiss. And, you know, that's just me. You know, you do you. I don't think about, you know, never seeing her again. It's not forefront of my mind, but the habit is born out of such a thought, I suppose. So, all right, let's have a non-fireside chat now. Oh, well, you know, we don't have time to sit down in the chairs this morning. I've got emails. I've got parts to order. Yeah, there's a fire in here. You can see it in my glasses. I have a fireplace. Oh, it's true. I have a fireplace. Enjoy your coffee. Enjoy the fire. All right, here you go. Is that not a fireplace? All right, it's hanging on my wall. You know, technology is amazing. You can have pretty much whatever you want, whenever you want it. So I don't have to be silly with my torch. I can just be silly with my television and speakers. And I can imagine I'm doing emails and ordering parts next to a fire. So I know, it's stupid, but it's brilliant. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna just do this. You grab yourself some Joe, and then I'm gonna dive back into the Dustang and probably some more work on Dusty. The engine for Marcus Aurelius, the Centurion, is supposed to be ready this week, but I don't know that I will have it in hand. We have to break it in on the dyno. But when he called me and said it was going to be ready, I immediately thought to myself, hey, those parts you were needing to order to finish that project and you were putting off, you need to stop putting that off. So I think I need new exhaust manifolds. One of them is cracked. The other one is welded on. So I'm gonna see what's available for that. And just some odds and ends hardware. For instance, taking the exhaust manifolds off, especially because the one head had melted down. We had to source new heads for that engine because it had really gotten hot. So taking the bolts out for the exhaust manifolds, half of them broke. The other half I wouldn't put back in. So I have to get new hardware for that, and so on and so forth. So that engine may go back in that car next week, but this week I'm definitely gonna be kind of working on that. So anyway, yeah, enjoy the fire, and we'll meet up over by the Dustang there in a couple minutes. Glad you're here again, as per usual. Glad you are here.
Oh yeah, well, you know, you reminded me the other day, if you're, you know, have some long-term projects, good way to protect them is to cover them. You know, I had these covers in my shopping cart forever, just couldn't pull the trigger, and then you had to say that, and I was like, yeah, I'll just go ahead and do it. So I bought one for the Marcus Aurelius Centurion here. They just come in different sizes, and I have no doubt I will have another big car come through the shop. I've just, you know, the odds are that this will fit on. So I also bought one for, what's his name? Mr. F. Yeah. So you might be asking yourself, hey, how do you get a car clean when it's covered in dust and road grime from when it came in the shop and from pulling the engine? How do you clean a car without a hose? It's like 7 degrees outside. I'm not rolling it out and washing it. Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you why I'm going to tell you. So come over here. So I figure since the Dustang is running, it is running. I still have, you know, put the cap and rotor back on it and button up, you know, some things, whatever. We'll get to that. But first I thought, you know, it's probably about time, since this car is running, to finally wipe the barn dust off of it. I know what you're thinking. It's probably going to be worth about $5 grand less without the barn dust on it. But this is the thing. This is a barn find that was found by its owner in his barn that he put there. So I don't think he's too worried about keeping the dust on it because he's not selling it. So we've got an impressive layer of dust. The hood is relatively clean because it's been up a lot, but also because I cleaned it last month probably because I had to work on it, you know, to get it to close. So you ask, how do you do that? Well, let me tell you. You just use, here we go, 2 simple ingredients, brake cleaner and a wire brush. No, that's for greasy parts. Okay, Other things you can use, probably better things, spray away. Spray away will do a great job at doing your first level of cleaning. Now, you want to use virgin cloths so as to, you don't want to use cloths that you might have used for other things that will scratch the paint. In this case, this paint, I'm not sure anyone would notice if it was scratched or not because it's old. But let's just pretend, okay? Because we still want to take care of it. We don't want to make it worse. So, spray away. First thing, I'm going to go over the whole car, glass, everything, bumpers, all of it. With spray away, I'm going to use liberal amounts. I'm going to let it sit for half a beat, just to kind of let the dirt kind of soak up into it before I wipe it off. Once the paint is free of contaminants, I'm going to come back with Wizards. It's a Mist and Shine product. No, not sponsored. Nobody sponsors me. Nothing I use, I 0%. And it would be nice. It would be nice because maybe I'd get free product, but no, nothing. I'm not sponsored by this either. This is a Ford product. Anyway, so then you go over it with the Mist and Shine. Now, on Mr. F, since he has always been pristine, and that's fresh paint and everything, the only thing that's ever been on his paint is very light dust, kind of like household level dust. In that case, I just use a Mist and Shine. I don't use spray away. Wow. Congratulations. It's world's best glass cleaner. I wonder how you get that. Do you vote for that? Is that a thing like the world votes? Because I didn't get that email. I didn't get the voting email on world's best, but I'll take their word for it. They are a proud American company, which I appreciate. I love buying American. Anyway, Wizards Mist and Shine. I used just straight on Mr. F. I'm going to use the second on the Centurion. It was really covered and dirty when it got here, so I used spray away with clean towels. When they get dirty on one side, I flip them to the other side. When that side gets dirty, which doesn't take long on the first go around, I put it in the hamper and then I wash it and I use it for something else. So, yeah, I think it's time. Let's get this dust off of here. Let's breathe new life into this project that new life is already breathed into since it's running. And yeah, that'll be good. My brain is already like zooming forward to what I have to do after that, but we'll do that after that. I just was in the mood since I was washing cars and putting covers on, long-term projects. Let's do this. I mean, there's like raccoon tracks in the paint. It's just ridiculous. Now you might wonder why take so much time and energy on a car that you're, well, frankly, you're not done with. In fact, you barely started on. And also it's got bad paint, it's got some rust, and well, it's the same reason why I take care of the Centurion, or Mr. F, or the big 79 Bronco that's under a cover. These cars are someone's history. They're someone's pride and joy. They're important to someone. And if they're important to that person, important enough to give me the privilege of working on, then it's important to me. And, you know, it might be a little bit like, you know, in Charlie Brown, the Pigpen character, when he takes a bath and then immediately gets out of the bathtub and is dusty again. That may be what we're dealing with here. But yeah, well, you know, cars are people too. And maybe one of the reasons why the Dustang has been fighting me so badly is because it was dirty. A dirty car always runs worse than a clean car. It's science. It's not up for debate, okay? There's no denying it. Clean car runs better. You know, if it has a motor in it. That's a clean car, but it's not running. Mr. F is a clean car. Not running any better, but that's because it doesn't have a motor, so. Anyway, I am sweating. I will tell you one thing. Cleaning cars, it's a lot of elbow grease. I'm a little low on the elbow grease. All right, well, there you go. That's what's happening here. I'm gonna start figuring out a mount for the fuel pressure regulator. Put the new cap and rotor on. And what else? Do I have any other parts here that I need to do? I don't think so. I wrote myself a list there on the whiteboard. Should we go over and look at it? Okay. I don't even think washing the car was on the list, to tell you the truth. Let's see what I wrote. Oh. Drain coolant, replace thermostat and housing. Okay, yeah, I have those parts. Clock distributor, right, because it's clocked up against the thermostat housing and I want it clocked a little bit further that way. And mount the pressure regulator. Okay. Well, that's what I'm gonna do then. Okay, well, I'm going to just start this interruption off with, I was wrong. Yeah. Whew, it feels good to get off my chest. Yeah, I was wrong. I was wrong. Yep. So, okay, now we can move on. Oh, yeah, what was I wrong about? Well, we'll not get into all of that. But specifically, we can get into one thing that I was wrong about. So, if you remember, last week we were running this engine, and I was just waiting for this, basically to get the signs that I was getting the what do you call it? Thermostat was opening up. You know, you kind of get that bubble of, you know, action, water movement, and I had some, but nothing really happened. So since I'm going to replace this, well, I mean, what could be wrong with that? I took the, water thermostat housing. Wow. Maybe we need to take a break, get some more coffee, get that brain juice in there, so I can actually think of the words. That's awful. Anyway, so I just popped this housing off and kind of took a peek down in here. I don't know if you can see it. There's pieces. What's that? That's interesting. Okay, any guesses? Oh, let me see if I can reach in here. Grab this out. Oh, what's that? What's that look like to you? I'll set that over here. Let's see if there's anything else in there. Oh, yep, I feel something. Come on, fella. Oh, there you are. What does that look like? Looks like a spring of some kind. Huh, weird. Anything else? Looks, well, yep, this sure is. What is that? Can I reach my big fingers in there, or did I just shove it further back? See if I can snag it with this. See if it's snaggable. I hear it, but it's not snaggable. Okay, well, it's just another part and piece that I have to get out. Oh. Come on. Seriously? Well, that's great. Anyway, let me wipe my hands. Yeah, well, that's basically the other parts and pieces to this. So what I was wrong about was, well, the thermostat was open. I mean, it was way open. It was like, hey, I just blew myself into a bunch of little pieces and now water can just run through freely. So, I mean, I was right and wrong. It didn't open, it was open, but it was broken. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever seen that? Like a thermostat come apart. It's just weird. I've never seen that in my life. So, add it to things I've never seen in my life while working on this car. It's an adventure every day. So I'm gonna try to see if I can fish out whatever other piece that my finger shoved further in to the water passage. See if I can fish that out. And then we're going to, well, if I can open this. Hang on, hold on. Okay, yep, there we go. See if this matches. Sure, I'd say that's pretty close. Minus the years of nasty gunk. Yeah, we're gonna get rid of that. Yep, we've got a gasket and a plug. Oh, good. So I'm gonna need the plug for that side. There's a plug there. I just need to put that plug in there. So, all right, well, I'm gonna get my tweezers out and then we'll pop this back on. Well, I have the housing. Oh yeah, here's a thermostat. So also, while we're talking about thermostats and thermostat housings, I bought, and I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this, the temp on there, 160. I bought a little cooler one. I think factory is 180, something like that. But you know, these old engines, they don't flow as clean as they used to. They tend to run a little hotter because of the gunk on and around and inside of them. So we'll just run a little cooler so that thing opens up and this engine doesn't heat up. Obviously, when the water is flowing, the engine doesn't overheat because I ran this thing for 45 minutes last week and with the broken thermostat in it, and it didn't even pretend to overheat. It didn't really even pretend to heat. So I think we're in good shape on that. All right, I'm gonna get back to it. Okay, well, I'm dressed, you know, kind of warmly because it's probably 10 degrees outside. I don't know. I fiddled with the engine longer than I should have because when I switched the cap, I don't even like to admit this. I'm wrong twice. Don't get used to it. But I set it up for the firing order of a 302, not a 289. There's a couple different, like two choices. I did the wrong choice. After having done it right the first time, I just was in my head and then wouldn't start, and I was like, gah! Literally, and some other words. Warmed up the shop a little bit for a bit. And then figured it out. So now it starts and runs. I'm going to start it with the key instead of with the little underhood starter. And we're going to see if this thing will move under its own power for the first time in 20 years. The engine's running. I haven't even pressed the clutch before on this car, so we're just going to see if anything even works. I'm assuming this is a 3-speed. I didn't even know that. So let's clutch is in, starts and runs. I don't know, is that reverse? We're gonna find out. Letting the clutch out slowly. No, that's not, that's third. Oh, that's reverse. Can't see my hand, but I'm putting it in reverse. There it goes. Ooh, we're moving. We're moving. We are moving. This is a little scary. Oh, we don't even have snow tires on. There's only a tiny bit on the ground. Whoops. And that's the no brakes that we have. 0 brakes. I just tried to press the brake pedal. Okay, it's working. Yeah. I would say this is working. Now I've only got 3 bolts on each tire, so we're not going to do a bunch of that. And also, I'm not going to go sailing it into the shop because I have no brakes.
So let's, I think this is a win, but we're definitely just gonna ease it into the shop very gently and easily. Easy now, no brakes, careful. Okay, that's it. I call that a win, right? We did donuts, a wheel didn't fall off, which it could have, because literally there's only like 3 out of the 5 on each wheel. And also, that's a trailer tire, and the other ones are 50 years old. So I think that's what we can do. We had good oil pressure. The alternator D's and C's were doing the things. I didn't try the radio. Should we try the radio?
$100 off a new piece of Rofka's furniture.
Look, we can get furniture discounts right through the radio. Amazing. Wow, very cool. Okay, oh yeah. Let's push this back into the shop the rest of the way. Glad these cars aren't really that big. All right, well, see what it looks like. Everything looks good. It's wonderful. No extra leaks. Okay, well, we got a little tiny leak there. What's that? What's that leak? Oh wait, that's after I pushed it forward. So that leak was probably coming out of the cap area. I think I need a new cap in this thing. It's really, the seals are not really that good on it. I don't have any coolant leaks on the engine itself, but I do around the radiator area. I don't think it's the radiator itself leaking. I think it's pushing past this and possibly this. I've got some moisture up top here. So, unfortunately, we're gonna have to put a pin in this project. Now that it's running, I have got to get together with the owner. It has 0 brakes. Without thinking, for the first time, no, not the first time I did something without thinking, but for the first time I hit the brakes, and I did it without thinking, straight to the floor. Went like, boom, right to the floor with no pretending that it was gonna stop. So I can almost 100% guarantee there's no fluid in there, and probably the lines are swelled up, nothing's working. But the owner expressed some interest in possibly upgrading the brake system. So until we can have a meeting of the minds and of the wallets, that's as far as we're going on this thing. Running and driving, you know? Sorry, am I too tall? Should I slouch some more? I don't know, like, I just feel like, okay. What a great car. Challenging car, but a great car. And what we still have here is an engine that could probably benefit from a rebuild. But on the other hand, it's working fine. It's not smoking. All the fluids are staying where they belong. It's got good compression. So I say, run it until it doesn't run and then rebuild it. Yeah, so I guess we're gonna put a pin in that. We'll circle back around to it later. I'm trying like corporate speak. I've got to, you know, figure that out. Pin in it, circle back around. And we'll probably go pedal away at Dusty over there, the 1936 Dodge pickup. And then maybe next week we'll get to the motor on this. Probably
this week you'll see the Roadrunner back in the shop because I'm going to pick it up this week. So the motor's not ready to be put in it yet. That won't be probably till February. It's at the engine builders, but we'll get the car back. It's back from paint, or it's done with paint. My paint guy, who also owns that Bronco over there, he finished that up. So yeah, we'll take a peek at it and kind of kick the tires and make a plan. Okay, so was that a good transition? All right, let's move on. Moving on. Moving on to welding, booger welding. Well, I kind of feel like the dog that caught what it was chasing. I don't know what to do with it. It's all apart. It's all in pieces. But now what do we do with it? It's always a question, you know. So let me just take you through a little bit. Got a little, yeah, totally gonna get tetanus from that. So I wasn't able to save really any of the hardware. This truck has seen a lot of Wisconsin winters, let's just put it that way. And they just, for instance, we could go to the pickup bed here. So you can see, well, you can't really see, these were square openings, okay? But the thing is, this metal's so old, you know, it had the kind of the button head on it that fit into the square opening so that you could just tighten the bolt from behind and have it done. Well, it's so rusted that you loosen it from behind and it just starts spinning in the hole. So I had to cut all of those off. To get the fenders off, everything had to be cut. It just, there was no saving any of that stuff. On the cab itself, so the way it was kind of also funny because on the passenger side, we had all of these springs for the 3 mounting points. On the driver's side, they were all missing and there was shorter hardware in there. So my guess is they rusted out at some point on the driver's side or whatever. But basically this was their version of cab mounts, so the cab could flex on the frame. You know, I saved these because you can, I used my heat induction tool. This thing is Bolt Buster heat induction tool. Not sponsored, but I do love it. It's an expensive tool, but it is worth it. Heat induction is amazing. And I've probably showed you before, but you just put that around the head of the nut. There's different sizes of them. You turn it on and just hold it there for, I don't know, 30 seconds until that nut is glowing red or however hot you want it. And then you hit it with the impact. Zoop, comes right off. These are also interesting because they're basically set up like this, but they had a cotter pin in the bottom part. So these are circa early 1930s hardware. So you know it's good old American steel. It's good stuff. But also probably not reusable. You know, I'm not gonna throw it away. I can clean it up in the media blaster and take a look and stuff, but I may go a different route with my cab mounting. We'll just have to see on that. So, also, before I took the cab off, I made a bunch of hieroglyphics on either side. So I have this idea, and this is what it is. Whenever I get to this point, I would like to create essentially a frame. It goes up under the dash. It's attached to the frame here that I can hang pedals off of. You know, like those Willwood pedal sets that have the reservoir, brake fluid reservoir in it, and also to mount the steering column on, because the way that it was mounted, well, it's going to be so dark in here you're not going to be able to see, but it has caused all of that cracking. It's not a very good, I mean, this stuff, it's not a very good way to mount a steering column, at least on something that's this old. So I would like to redo that, considering I'm doing different engine and transmission. If I can build a frame here for my pedals to hang off of, and also for my steering to come off of, and figure that out. So basically I can have a rolling chassis with all my brake lines, my fuel lines, my engine, transmission, rear end, electrics, all of that stuff kind of on the frame and then wired into the cab. So the cab could be lifted off at a different time. And I don't know. I'm just thinking aloud. So that's why I wrote those notes, because I wanted to see where the cab fell, where the front of it was, how high it was from there to under the dash, you know, all the measurements and whatnot, and so forth. There is not much left. I didn't take the running boards off, as you can clearly see. That's another time. We'll just leave those on there right now. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. And so let's just let them hang there. I'll store them right there for now. Also, if you notice here, if I stand on it, this frame is bent. So I've got all of my 4 jack stands at the same height on a level floor. And that one is tweaked up. So just, you know, in case you're thinking I'm ruining a vintage frame that could be saved, well, yeah, you know, technically, but it's also a bent frame. And it's also rusty and, you know, it's not happening. It's my truck, so that's not gonna happen. I will deal with the bent frame. Yeah, we'll figure out, just make sure that, you know, we track straight, the suspension works, all that kind of stuff. So I could kind of tell when the truck was sitting with all the body pieces on, because it kind of sagged a little lower on one side than the other, but also it's hard to tell because the whole body was sagging. All the mounts are rusted and the floor is falling in and all that, so. Okay. That's the catch up. That's the catching up on all of the work. So I'm gonna set that aside, put a pin in it for now, and then I'll try to work a little on it every week in between the other projects that we have. So I've got to find a place for all the hardware, bag it up, remember what it's for, because I don't know about your memory, but mine is good at forgetting where I got things from, so. That was a dad noise. Yeah, it was a dad noise. Got delicious happy hour beverage. Says Fredonia. Look it up. The Fredonia Brewery. It is in Nacogdoches, Texas. I used to live there, so that's why I have a glass. Oh, speaking of good things, I went out to eat with my wife the other night, and I had something I'd never had before in my life. No, it wasn't calamari. It wasn't fish at all. No fish. Not a big fish guy. I mean, if saying that seems fishy, or something smells fishy about that, or I feel like if some sort of food or animal is used in a negative sense, I don't think I need to eat it. You know, nobody says there's something bacony about that. Speaking of, what I had that was really good was cheese curds wrapped in bacon and deep fried. Wisconsin cheese curds. If you've never had them, the Ellsworth Wisconsin cheese curds, the good cheese curds are breaded in kind of like a beer batter. It's not like cheese stick, you know, real thick breading. It's like a real light breading, and they're deep fried. Well, at this place, you could get those. They're delicious. My wife was one of her favorite
eating out foods. But they had it on the menu, bacon wrapped cheese curds. And they had a dipping sauce that was like what was it? Like I don't know, some sort of aioli. I don't know. I don't know names of food. I know names of foods. I just don't know what they mean, I like food. I just don't know. I don't cook. So, anyway, delicious. If you've never had them, have them. And if you live somewhere where that isn't even such a thing, well, I'm sorry, because they're good. So, I lived in places where cheese curds weren't a thing. It's a thing where I live now. So it wasn't, for instance, in Nacogdoches, no cheese curds in Nacogdoches. They got some good barbecue, really good barbecue, good Mexican food. No cheese curds. But if they knew about them, I bet they'd have them. So, I feel really good about, running, driving, not stopping. So we'll, yeah, I'm still trying to get a hold of the owner. So, I don't know. I don't know where he is. So anyway, until then, we can't really touch the brakes because I didn't ever get a decision on what direction he wanted to go with the brakes. Getting it running, that was 100% crystal clear. That's what we needed to do. And it's running well. It's idling well. I'm very happy that the clutch and the transmission is working. I would probably, and this can be down the road, once it actually gets roadworthy and has brakes and just some things that it needs to drive down the road safely, I would probably suggest changing out the fluid in the rear end, changing out the fluid in the transmission. Let's just, grease all the greasing points. Let's just make sure it's good, but the engine, A-okay. All right, and then Dusty. We blew Dusty apart. And, the more I blow Dusty apart, the more I realized I may have loaded up my plate with too much food. It's going to take me a while to eat it. Oh, I'm going to get through it. I'm definitely eating all the food. I'm just gonna have to slow down and take one bite at a time. So, the more that I get into Dusty, the less I'm sure about what I want to do with him. Like, ultimately, get him back together, drive him. What I have not changed my mind on is the fact that I want him to look like an old farm truck, like he does. We're not putting shiny paint. No shiny, sorry. I know you like shiny paint. I like shiny paint. But that's not what Dusty wants. You gotta listen. When you get a project, you gotta listen to them. You can't just go willy-nilly and say, hey, I'm doing this, and it doesn't, don't. He wants to be, it took him so long to get the way he is. Basically his whole life. Never been repainted, never been nothing. Just been used as a farm truck. It took him that long. Let's just honor that, okay? Fixing the rust, firming things back up again, making him good. That's the goal. Anyway, that's what I have to say about it. I'm glad you stuck it out with me this week. We're getting towards the end of the year, and just a few more visits before we ring in the new year. But I'm sure we'll find something to do. There's always something to do. So Really, really, really glad that you're here. And yeah, maybe we'll see you next time. Cheers.